Hi.
Hi, Becky. How are you doing?
Good. Good to
Welcome.
see you. Thank you.
Good to see you. Well, everyone, I'm Marion from Attire and Beyond. If you're new, welcome. And if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. And if you're one of Becky's fans, hi. um, we're going to talk today. The reason I decided to interview Becky is because
Sorry, I turned on my phone and then I
don't
just
be. Don't be. I just had a lower mine right before you. Uh, the reason why I decided to interview Becky is because I've been watching her for about a year, and I watch a lot of YouTubers and people on Instagram, but she is one of the most sincere, down to earth people, and I just adore her. And many people do. And I think that you can learn a lot from her. You can gain some knowledge because she has gone so far this past year. I can't believe it. She's on multiple platforms, and we just lost her for a minute, but I'm sure she'll be right back. She's on multiple platforms, and there she is.
so sorry. I got
That's okay. And we're going to be talking today about the pros and cons of being on multiple platforms. We're going to talk a little bit about YouTube and how Becky juggles her family, full-time job, and this part-time job. So welcome, Becky. Tell us a little bit about you, even though I did already. No.
Yeah. Yeah, not much to add. I've been reselling now for like 3 years. I've been on YouTube for 2, and I do have a full-time job as a high school choir teacher. So I literally just finished teaching my 3rd class and then jumped on here to talk about reselling and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think the more I do it and the more I kind of add to my plate, it does get a little harder to juggle. But I think too, like, we have to take into account the fact that like the longer you do something, the better you get at it, the faster it gets. And so it is frustrating when you first start something new to feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm never going to get the hang of this, and it's going to take me forever to get to a place where I can do things quickly. But you get there faster than you think, and then once you feel like you've kind of mastered something, or you feel really good about how you're doing with something, then you can slowly start to add more things if that's what you want to do,
Right.
to your plate. But that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, I've watched your progression, and I am going to ask you to tell us about the platforms you're on and some pros and cons. But I watched you start with Poshmark, and then I
Mhm.
think Citizen you went to, and now you're on Mercari. I think you're on eBay, which if you
Mhm.
are, I'm jealous because I have to talk to you about it. It's the shipping that gets me.
Yeah.
And you're on other platforms also. So tell us a little bit about that progression and how it worked for you.
Yeah. So, I kind of just like fell into Poshmark on accident almost, just trying to find a good way to get rid of the clothes that we had in our house, like my clothes, my husband's clothes, that sort of thing. And when I realized people were making really good money doing this, and that, people were even doing this full time, I started doing what you were talking about, watching YouTube videos and stuff, and just kind of learning from people who were making content. And then once I felt really established and I felt like I like understood Poshmark inside and out, that's when I felt comfortable trying out a new platform. And I definitely recommend that to other people. When people ask me, when do you think I should add another platform to the mix? I always tell them, like, wait until you feel like you've really, learned one inside out. And then
Right.
at that point, maybe it would make sense to try out another platform. And so I think the next platform I went to was Mercari, because I had heard that
Mhm.
it was pretty
Oh,
similar.
yes.
Yeah, it was like pretty similar to Poshmark. It was kind of like a baby step in terms of shipping, like you were talking about, trying to figure out
Okay.
like how to ship in a different way. And then I did finally take the plunge into eBay. I was like you, I was so scared of it. I was so scared of the shipping because Poshmark makes it so easy.
I know.
But I'm really glad I'm on there now. There are even weeks that eBay does better for me than Poshmark.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so I don't know. At this point, I am selling on a lot of platforms. I honestly might cut some out as I start to evaluate, like, is it worth my time to list over there?
Right.
Even though I use a cross listing platform or a cross listing tool, it's still time, and so
Okay.
there are some that just don't perform as well for me personally. So I think, at some point, probably this year, I'll have to start making some decisions as to like which ones are worth my time, which ones can I let go of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I started on Mercari now lately, and it's slower going, but I'm going to let it go
Mm-hmm.
the way I did with Poshmark. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's my new platform. Maybe eventually eBay.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, do you use which tool do you use? Do you use Vendu or List Perfectly?
I use
Is
this
it
perfectly. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. I started with them like basically almost when they first came out. And
Okay.
yeah, I have had no reason to like try anything else. So
Okay. Yeah, I tried List Perfectly, but then I also tried Vendu, and both of them are great. Right now
Mhm.
I'm using Vendu, but I tend
Mhm.
to go back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so tell me a little bit about your part-time business. So you sell mostly fashion, mostly clothes, right?
Mhm.
Or is it different on eBay?
I do sell mainly clothes. I've kind of transitioned to doing like a lot more shoes than anything else, but I
Okay.
do sell mainly fashion stuff. I am trying to learn a little bit more about some of the other things like, I don't know, anything else that'll sell, and even with Poshmark opening up a lot of different markets and stuff, like we were cleaning out our playroom the other day and we had some toys of my kids that we didn't need anymore. So I listed them on Poshmark and I actually sold things like Barbies and stuff on Poshmark. Like who would have thought? So
Wow.
yeah, I mean basically now that I feel better about like how to ship and all that kind of stuff on any given platform, anything, that can sell, I'm willing to list it and see what happens. I'm still kind of scared of like really big stuff. Like I know people, will sell things like exercise equipment, like weights or
Oh,
um,
yeah.
things like furniture. I'm not at that level yet. Like I don't have the confidence to sell and ship things of that nature. But I mean, maybe we'll see one day we'll get up to that point. But yeah.
Now, have you tried Facebook Marketplace yet?
So I just had my first Facebook Marketplace sale last night.
Okay.
So that was exciting. I've probably cross-listed like 25 to 35 items over there at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, it took like a week or so, and then I finally sold my first thing. So I'm excited about that. It's just kind of confusing to me. Like I was trying to even figure it out as a seller. I was trying to
Okay.
see like how can I still haven't figured out how to even see outside of my own like 100-mile radius. And so
Okay.
I don't really get it even from a buyer's standpoint, but I mean, it's like so many people are having so much success over there. I was kind of getting FOMO and I was like, I need to try it. So, yeah.
Well, it's funny because now that I said that, we did sell some things on Facebook Marketplace. I had my husband do it because he had sold things on there, and
Mhm.
he's not a reseller, but he had
Mhm.
sold things on there before. So he already had a good rating and everything. And I said, why don't you put
Mhm.
these on? And Becky, anything that we put on, I didn't put clothes on yet, but
Yeah.
sold so fast, and
Yeah.
everything sold except one shirt, and we might have had 10 different things on there.
Mhm.
So I am really thinking of doing that, even
Yeah.
for my retail business, because there's another woman who has a thrift type store and new clothes
Mhm.
too. And she sells everything from her retail store on there, and people come and
Wow.
pick it up.
Yeah. So are
But
you
from
just doing local or are you shipping stuff out?
Well, this is the funny thing with Facebook Marketplace. We ended up getting someone contacted us
Mhm.
and said, hey, can you ship this? I think it was to Texas.
Uh-huh.
And we looked it up and we said, because it was a big curling iron type thing.
Mhm.
And we said, it's going to cost whatever, $23. And she
Mhm.
said, that's all right. And she
Oh wow.
sent me the money with the shipping, and we
Yeah.
sent it out. So
Yeah.
so we didn't even have to put ourselves in any other area. They
Uh-huh.
came to us.
Yeah.
So I don't understand it a lot yet, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to start looking into it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah.
know we did list maybe a few months ago, we did list some like household items just to,
Okay.
so we listed a set of like 4 chairs. Those sold like the same day. So I do think that kind of stuff locally can do really well. But I was trying the like, listing clothes and seeing how that would do. yeah, not so much success yet, but
No.
we'll keep trying. But like, yeah, bigger things to try and sell them locally for pickup. I think, Facebook Marketplace is really great for that.
Well, we sold a table and chairs. We did, and that's the good place definitely if you're afraid of big things,
Yes,
put them on there.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what made me think of it when you said
Hmm.
that, because
Yeah.
we sold exercise equipment and everything, and
Yeah.
that's what jolted my memory. But I know people who have great success selling clothes and shoes
Hmm.
on there
Yeah.
just a little bit cheaper than we sell on Poshmark. And you
Hmm.
know what? It's worth it because
Hmm.
they come and pick it up.
Yeah.
And like, do you also send into ThreadUp?
I do. I still had boxes that I had sent in before they made their changes. So those like just went live. And then I have like
Okay.
one that I sent in even after the changes just to kind of see like how it would do. I didn't want to like completely leave it the way a lot of other people did without at least trying it. And the
Right.
one box that I sent in after the changes, I mean, that's like my best selling box right now. And
Oh,
obviously,
really?
yeah, I'm getting less for each item, obviously, but it's still like, I mean, yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep messing around with it and see if I can find a way to work it into my business model. But
Well, I ask that because think of it like, I know when I send, I'm looking because my clothes are in here. When I send certain things, some things I only make $1.23 on, three
mhm,
something.
yeah,
But so I'm thinking, okay, so I could sell them on Facebook Marketplace for like $13 instead of
mhm,
20 on Poshmark and still make more,
exactly, yeah,
So
mhm,
I'm definitely going to start doing that. So
yes, yeah, for sure.
so what which marketplace or which e-commerce do you like the best as of right now? I know it can change tomorrow,
Mhm.
but
I think it just depends on like what it is that you're selling, um, and yeah, it depends on a lot of things. I do like Poshmark for the sense of how easy it is to do everything over there, like how easy it is to list, how easy it is to ship. There are a lot of elements of Poshmark that I don't love either.
okay.
And I think people who sell all different kinds of things can be successful on Poshmark, but I think that what you end up taking home based off of, what you're selling, perhaps it's better to move that stuff over to eBay. So for example, like,
Okay.
Poshmark, I think generally does best for those with like really trendy pieces, like kind of the hot brands. They're catering more to like 20, 30-year olds than they are
Mhm.
like a more mature crowd, or even like kids' clothes because of the fact that they're taking that 20% cut. And so
Right.
if you're selling something for $150, like that 20% cut doesn't hurt as much as if you sold something for 12 or something.
Yeah.
They're taking a good chunk of your money. And so I I think that like Poshmark can be really good depending on what kind of stuff you're selling. It is a lot of work in the sense of, sharing and all that kind of stuff. But I was even talking to a friend yesterday about that, and I was like, it is annoying to share, but also it is in your control a little bit as far as how high up your item is in the search results. You don't really have that kind of control on like Mercari, for example. You can
Right.
promote and stuff, but that's only every once in a while. And so to have that kind of control, if you wanted to, like, be at your computer all day, like sharing your item, like, I mean, it is what it is. Some people would see that as a pro. Most people just hate the fact that you have to share, but, you can kind of utilize it to work for you in a sense. I like eBay in the sense of like, you can list anything you want over there. Um,
Okay.
Typically speaking, you're going to be able to pocket more of that because their fees are not as high. And you have more control with things like running sales or
Okay.
changing how much shipping is. Like, people don't like how on Poshmark, if someone buys a necklace from you, they're still paying close to $8 for shipping on that necklace.
Right.
Versus on eBay, you can charge the actual like $3 it would,
Okay.
cost to get that necklace out to them. So it's hard to say. I do consistently usually make the most sales over on Poshmark, but that's also just because that's where I list first before I cross
Okay.
somewhere else. So, items have the chance to sell on Poshmark first because it's the easiest place to list on, I think, and then I'll send stuff out to other places. But
And how did you learn eBay? Did you do the same thing as I did with everything and just watch videos galore?
Yeah, and then I think too, like, unless you're down to source a lot online or do a lot of like online retail arbitrage or something, you're kind of um, stuck with what you have around you. So for me, it's like I could watch all of these really cool videos about all the bolo brands and stuff, but the truth of the matter was, like, I just wasn't going to find very much of that kind of stuff in my area. So I think what I
Okay.
did was I just kind of looked at, okay, what is readily available to me and what are those things worth? And that seemed like it was more worth my time than learning about all these brands that maybe you would find in more metropolitan areas, but like I wasn't
Right.
necessarily going to find here. Still good to know about it because you never know, like things end up everywhere.
Right.
But for the most part, I think what has been more beneficial for someone like me has been to ask myself, okay, what brands am I seeing a lot? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of like Maurice's, a lot of like Silver,
Yeah.
American Eagle. Can I do anything with that stuff? And figuring out, okay,
Okay.
some of those things you actually can. So that's kind of how I've been spending my time and how I kind of grew my knowledge and what I
Okay.
decided to learn more about.
And now the shipping part of it, did you just learn that by yourself? Was that like,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely tried to watch some stuff. I feel like it's hard. Like, I feel like there is a lot of content out there about eBay shipping, but it's one of those things you can't really learn it and feel good about it until you just go through it yourself.
okay,
So I just had to like sit down and do it. I made a ton of mistakes. And that's just one of
okay,
those things with eBay. You just have to go in with the assumption of, I'm going to make a ton of mistakes.
okay,
That's the only way to learn. So that's kind of what I did. And I've been on eBay now for, I don't know how long, maybe like a year and a half or something.
oh,
I
okay,
still make mistakes, but I feel a lot better about it with every package that I send out. So, yeah, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. Um,
okay,
yeah, once you get a couple sales under your belt.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's good to know because
yeah,
that's the biggest thing that for me and that I hear from other people that they're afraid of the shipping.
yeah, yeah.
So, but I think going from Poshmark and then being on Macari now, I mean, I have to estimate the
Hmm.
poundage or
Yeah,
whatever. So I think that's a good progression for me too,
yeah, yeah. And I
because then,
think,
go
yeah,
on,
no,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
keep going. No, 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 no.
No, then it's not as scary
Mhm.
because you're at least doing that, but I haven't measured packages or anything yet.
Yeah. And I think Mercari is almost a little bit harder than eBay in that once you select your shipping option, you can't go back in after someone purchases it and change it. Whereas on eBay, you can.
Oh,
So, like,
oh, okay.
yeah. So if you said, this thing weighs 3 pounds, but then you go in later after it's been purchased and you realize, oh, actually it costs 4 pounds, then you can
Okay.
change that information and
Oh,
get the correct shipping label that you need versus on Mercari, once they buy it, that's it. Like
that's it.
that's the shipping label. If you made a mistake, you have to reach out to them. They have to like cancel the transaction. You have to redo it. So
Okay.
there is some grace actually on eBay that you don't get on Mercari, I realize. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah. It's just eBay has so many options. I think that's what's so intimidating to people is like
Right.
there's just so many options to choose from. But you're right. Like Mercari is a good stepping stone to kind of figure out how to do eBay shipping. And Amber asked a question about Facebook
Oh, I'm sorry.
Marketplace.
Go
No,
ahead.
she said her items either get a ton of views and sell in the first 24 hours or get basically no views. Have you two experienced?
uh, Go ahead. Well,
I don't have very much, but I mean, I did. Sorry, I'm gonna get chapstick. My lips are so
that's
chapped.
okay.
I feel like with my first few items that I had listed, I felt that way. It was kind of like if it didn't sell within the first couple of days, it wasn't gonna sell.
Okay.
Yeah, and I haven't had enough experience yet with my clothes to know if that's true of those either. But I feel like I've heard that, Amber. If it doesn't sell right away, it's not gonna sell.
And so now, Amber, with us, the experience was some things didn't sell right away, like the table and chairs took about 4 weeks. But since it was an expensive item, I kept it, we
Mm,
kept it up and tried to keep it at a higher price. But the smaller things, they sold within 24 hours, literally, some days 48 hours. But we had nothing except one thing, and this was the surprising thing to me. The one thing, I live in the Hudson Valley, and there's Marist College here, and it was a Marist College, like a big champion type, and nobody bought that. That was the one thing I expected to
Yeah.
go, but everything else that we put on there went.
Hmm.
And the woman who owns another retail store near me said her clothes take a while sometimes, but
Hmm.
just like on other marketplaces, she'll lower the price, or people will try lowballing her,
Hmm.
or not. And
Yeah.
but she said for the most part it takes a while, but she always does sell her things on there eventually.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking more about getting into that too. But I'm going to
Mhm.
try and wedge my husband into it a little more. Hopefully, he's not
Yeah.
watching. No.
Yeah. I mean, if he's already got the ratings and stuff for sure.
Yeah, and he's good. He's really good at it. He
Mhm.
just doesn't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, and speaking of that, how do you do it with having a family and a full-time job? Is it? I'm sure it's not easy, or maybe it is.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I share this all the time in terms of like, I I have like a very strong perfectionist mindset sometimes with things, and I think that can
Okay.
get in the way of just getting things done sometimes because I am so all or nothing. And I think I've really just had to kind of abandon that side of my personality.
Okay.
And so I my mantra has kind of been like, just get it done, and done is better than
Okay.
perfect. So there are things that I wish were better. I wish my YouTube videos were edited more, or I wish my pictures looked more this way, or whatever. I mean, there's always more that I could do to something, but
Right.
I'm just my thing lately has been just get as much done as quickly as possible, and then it's done,
Okay.
just leave it alone and just move on from it. um and I'm really thankful because I have really great help in my husband. Like, he is, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I do if it weren't for him, in terms of like, he cleans, he cooks, he's great with the kids and stuff. And so that has freed up a lot of time for me then to be able to do things like list or edit YouTube videos.
Okay.
And my kids are getting to an age where they like to help. So my son loves to like help me with packages, which means it's going to take me like 2 times longer, but at least it's something that
Okay.
we're doing together. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we just kind of make it work. And I just do a lot of stuff at night after the kids go down. Like, that's when I do
Okay.
the majority of my reselling stuff or YouTube stuff is like, and so I'm up most nights till like midnight or 1 in the morning, because that's
Oh,
the only
wow.
time I have to work on stuff. So it's like you have to make sacrifices. I don't have more hours in the day than anyone else, but I just choose to sleep less. And, um, because I don't want to sacrifice like my time with them either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I see a lot of people who have one child, two, three, four, and they're still doing it. And bravo to them. I
Mhm.
don't have any children, but I can't even imagine having more
Yeah.
than one kid, because I'm that type of person too. It's like all or nothing. Like
Yeah.
my husband said, black or white, there is a gray.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know that gray. And it
Yeah.
seems like most of us who really, really put our hearts and soul into it, that's the problem.
Yes. Yeah.
But I am learning to stop at
Yeah.
certain times, but I literally have to give myself a time to stop.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, like, just
Yeah,
timers for ourselves. And yeah, and that's the hard thing about reselling is it's all on our own terms. We don't have someone that says, you have to work until this time and then you get to clock out or whatever. It is very much
right,
all in our control. And I think we all know, like, the more you put in, the more you get out. And so sometimes we push ourselves too hard to say, well, I'm going to keep putting in then.
right,
But by doing so, you're eating up areas in your other aspects of life that need you too. So it has been hard. It's been a hard balancing act. And I think it's like it I can't say like every day I only allot this many hours to this and this many hours to that. I think it kind of comes in waves, like there will be busy seasons. So like
Right.
not too long ago, I created like a mentorship group and course for other YouTubers who talk about reselling. So,
Okay.
between my husband and I, we just kind of knew like this is going to be a really busy season for me. So I'm going to
Okay.
need you to do a little bit more. And then on the flip side, it's like he has his busy seasons with different things like at school and church and stuff. So it's like
Okay.
when he's got his busy seasons, I know like I need to take a little bit of a step back from reselling. So, it's not always going to be the same schedule every single day, but it's taking
Right.
a look holistically at what's happening to our entire family and how do we make it work for everyone. And that's been a challenge. Sometimes we accidentally schedule busy seasons that are happening at the same time, and we're like, oh my God, we're never going to get through these next weeks. But we've gotten better about that, I feel like. But yeah,
Okay.
it's hard to put limits on ourselves.
It really is. And I'm the opposite of you, where I get up early in the morning and
Uh-huh.
that's when I start. But I think what happens, or what used to happen more, was I'm thinking, well, if I don't keep sharing, like even at Blow, I'm going to make less sales. Or if I don't answer someone immediately, and it's because it's your own business, you're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur when you're doing this. So you're like on 24/7,
Yes.
especially in the beginning. Now I'm learning, I'm trying. Amber, how about you? Are you on 24/7, or is there a gray in between there? Um, and I'll look at that when you answer. Now, tell us a little bit about YouTube. First, when did you start? How long have you been reselling?
So I've been reselling for a little over 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and I started YouTube in February of 2019. So I just hit like my 2-year mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And number one, how do you like it? And do you make money? I mean, I watch your video, so I know, but do you also make money on there?
Yeah. So I do really like YouTube. I really like the community, and I feel like it allows me to kind of show up a little bit more naturally as myself. Like, I am a teacher in my professional career, and so to like be able to kind of come on and teach is pretty cool. And I like to think that I offer like a different perspective on reselling, especially when I started. There wasn't as much content coming from part-time sellers like myself.
Okay.
And so I felt like that was an important perspective to show, or even just like other Asian women. Like there weren't really
Right.
Asian women, talking about the kind of stuff I was talking about on YouTube. So in that way, I really enjoyed it. I have started making money on YouTube. I don't remember when I got monetized. I think it was like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 months in or something like that. And like the money that I earn from like Google AdSense is like, it's not bad. It's, I mean, every penny is a blessing because it's like
Yes, yes.
extra money. But I think really where it's been at for me as far as making money through YouTube has been through affiliate marketing. So, just
Okay.
talking about products and brands that I can stand behind and that I believe in, that's really where I've been making the majority of my income when it comes to YouTube. So yeah, that was very surprising to me. I'd always heard people say that, and I always thought
Right.
to myself, well, in my space, what would that even look like? How is that even possible? But it's definitely possible. So
Okay.
yeah, that's been really great.
And that helps so many people, because I know some people say to me, I was talking to them about affiliate type
Hmm.
marketing and stuff, and they're like, so what are you going to be doing? Getting people to buy? I said, no, they're products that work so good for me that I want to share them with other people,
Exactly. Yeah.
because people used to say to me years ago, and I don't think, like, I'm not a good salesperson. If you told me sell this and I didn't like it, I can't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you told me, to sell something else and I love it, people used to say to me, you should do commercials, but I have to love it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because, yeah, I can't just sell something if I don't like it. So the
Exactly.
great thing is, with everyone who's doing affiliate marketing, I mean,
Hmm.
I bought plenty of things from different people
Hmm.
who were doing videos on YouTube, because I didn't know,
Hmm.
what could work for me. So I think it's a win-win all around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the content that you put out, definitely helps people. I know you know that, but it definitely helps people, and it comes from the heart. So
Oh,
um,
thank you.
so I really, anyone who hasn't watched Becky, I want you to please, no, at least watch a video. Go follow her. She does a great job at explaining, and she gets into every single thing to explain to you, whether it's something that happened great that week or not. So that's the great part, because you get to see both sides and not
Yeah.
just, when I first started watching other videos, I was kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to make all this money right away. Or,
Yeah.
every week's a good week, because I was watching some videos that were just showing the good. And
Hmm.
I'm this positive, but I don't want to just see the good, because
Hmm.
then I was getting disappointed.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
discouraging.
it is. And the one thing I had to learn was not to compare myself to other people,
Hmm. Hmm.
because I was just starting out and thinking, why am I not making this money?
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so that was a big thing for me,
Hmm.
was to not compare, because
Yeah.
like with you, you're a part-time seller. There are people who are full-time sellers. Some of them are making more than you, some of them are making less than you. It all
Hmm.
depends.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'd say to everybody out there, don't compare yourself. That's
Yeah.
one thing that I
No, for
hear
sure.
too much.
Yes. And it's something even, when you've been at it for a while and you feel like you've hit your groove, it's still something that happens. And
Yeah,
like you were saying, like, I think a common mistake that a lot of people make when they first start out is comparing themselves not only to other people, but to people who have been doing it for years and years and years, and this is their full-time income. Like,
right,
those people should be doing much better than you. It's like
right,
they've been doing it for so long. And yeah, if they're not doing much better than you, then there's a problem, because like this is how they're putting food on the table. And so it is still a struggle though. And now it's like I kind of have the like YouTube piece of it too, always in my brain,
okay.
of like comparing myself. There are so many ways to play that game, but like you said, it can just be really discouraging. And it's best to try and not to use up any of our energy comparing ourselves to other people.
Yeah, I think that anybody out there who's either going to start YouTube videos or who's reselling, just be yourself.
Hmm.
That's what makes you special. Uh,
Hmm.
it's it's in 2 weeks from now. I'm going to be chatting with Lori, and
Nice.
yeah, and she's another one, so down to earth, so herself, and that's what I love.
Hmm.
So I did have a couple of people who were asking me before this, to talk a little bit about YouTube and how you have to be. And I explained to them before this, just be yourself.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes the hardest thing, because then
Hmm.
you feel vulnerable.
Hmm.
But I think that's how you have to be. Would you agree? I mean, you seem like you're totally yourself.
I like to think yeah. And I think too, like from the perspective of teaching and, like, part of my job is doing musical theater. So kind of being in that theater space too. It's for me, it's like almost cringeworthy to like watch people try to be someone else or try to be some like alternate version of themselves. And like you
Right.
said, like, you know, I think we do that as a way to protect ourselves, to not have to be as vulnerable. But also, I think the sad truth is some people do that because they think that them being themselves is not enough. And they feel like
Um,
they need to show up as someone else, or, I don't know, in order for people to like them. But
right.
I think one thing I've learned too from my years of teaching is like not everyone is going to like me, and I'm
Right.
totally okay with that. And like there are enough of us out here that everyone who is reselling, they don't have to all watch my channel. Like my channel is not going
Right.
to resonate with everyone. And I think the sooner people can swallow that hard truth, the better, just so that they can continue to unapologetically then show up as themselves, understanding that some people are going to watch and be like, I don't like this. And like,
Right.
them being okay with that and still staying true to who they are, because there is going to be a large group of people, an audience that is looking just for you. Like they're looking for someone with
Right.
your
Right.
style and your, teaching method and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I do think it's important. I have a hard time watching people when I'm asking myself, like, is this really who they are? Or are they like
Right.
putting on a show
Yep.
for me? That's personally not enjoyable for me. But
Me
yeah,
neither.
and it gets really tiring to have to play a role, day in, day out. So I would definitely say I think you're onto something, just be yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add? Any kind of tips or anything? I'm just springing that on you. No.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I'm trying to think. I don't, I think kind of keeping with the theme of what we've been talking about, like just move at your own pace and just be okay with wherever you're at in your journey and know that you're in the right place, even if it seems like everyone else around you is moving faster or doing better or anything like that. I think it's just really important to honor like how you're doing at that moment and to be proud of, the steps that you've taken to get that far. And like you had said, it's really hard to do that when you're constantly looking around to see where everyone else is at and feeling down on yourself for not being at their level. But you don't, your context is not the same as theirs. Some
Right.
people have, kids. Some people have, I've spoken to like single moms with kids and they're frustrated that they can't grow at the same rate as someone who has a ton of help and, all this and that. So it's like, no, it's not going to be the same rate of growth. Or it's not going to look the same because of the fact that your lives don't look the same, So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I would just say like take it at your own pace and be proud of, the ways that you're growing.
Well, great. Now, before we head out, just share a little bit about your course. And I know you're booked for March, but share a little bit about that, and also, all your channels and platforms, whatever you'd like.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just recently launched a course for people on YouTube who are making reselling content like myself. Just because there are a lot of other like YouTube courses out there, but
Mhm.
I think the way that mine is different is just that it's specifically for other resellers. So everything is always kind of tied to the perspective of a reseller, like
Okay.
the way we make videos, even simple things like the length of our videos, like, it's just going to be different as far as like what's best practice or whatever, compared to someone who's making videos about technology or something like that. So
Okay.
it's very specific to resellers. And there are two ways you can take it. You can just take the course on its own, the way that you would any other online course, and you can do that at your own pace. Or
Okay.
there's the mentorship option, which is people sign up to take the course, but they do it in a cohort of, a small group of people. We cap it at 20.
Oh,
And then once a week for a month, we meet, one night in the week and we discuss the past couple lessons and just kind of different things that we're struggling with on YouTube or just questions that people might have. So it's a good place to kind of like bounce ideas off of one another and brainstorm.
okay.
There's also like a Facebook group where people will like share their channels and ideas and ask for feedback. And, so it's just like a really great way to build community with other like-minded people. So
Yeah.
that's the course. And at the end of March, we'll open it up for people who want to sign up for April. And then I have my YouTube channel, which is Becky Park on Poshmark. I'm the same handle on Instagram. And I think that's it. And all of my stores and reselling platforms and stuff, like they're all linked in my videos and stuff. But yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Oh my
today.
goodness, of
So
course.
excited I got to speak to you
Yeah, it
and that you got to share some of your story. Hey, Amber, let me know if you want to be on a show. in,
was
in 2 weeks from now, I will be on with Lori from Lori's Boston Found.
yes.
So I'll be sending out invites soon now that I know how to do them the right way. Thank you. Uh, I'm just learning on this platform.
Yeah,
This
it's
is only
definitely
my second time on
mhm.
StreamYard. So thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll chat with you soon. Thanks, everybody, for joining.